Yes, my Straight Talk family, whenever you hear that theme song, you know it's time for me to bid you all, wherever you are, a very pleasant evening. Wherever you are in St. Kitts and Nevis, I should be more specific, and or throughout the entire Caribbean region, because we are on the World Wide Web. So wherever you are in the world, I can't say good morning, I can't say good evening, or I can't say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you find yourselves, in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora in particular. Some of you are in Africa, there's some of you in Asia, there's some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to extend such greetings. And for those who are joining me for the first time, we always have first timers, and I thank those who continue to share the link. You bring the first timers on board, and I'm eternally grateful for that. And for the first timers, I want to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And as we do that, we anticipate that someday we will return to that enviable position of being one of the freest countries in the entire world. Not right now, I can forewarn you, because the way things are going, the lack of transparency, the issues relating to governance, and your threat to your fundamental rights and freedoms under this administration begs for many, many questions. But on this program as well, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I continue to pledge. I pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And I am always reminded by an excerpt of a favorite hymn of mine written by Thomas Jackson and Franz Joseph Haydn. And the excerpt goes something like this: we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right. standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, my Street Dog family, our high calling to fulfill, that we may all know, or we all may know, I should say, the blessings or the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We don't try to make it more interesting. We don't try to exaggerate when we discuss things to make them more interesting. And we don't omit anything, because Straight Talk is not about sensationalism. Straight Talk is not about creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy, because we lean on the facts. And I consider it my bounden duty to always present the plain truth, or I would normally put it, the unvarnished truth, especially when it comes to governance in our beloved country, my Straight Dog family, St. Kitts and Nevis. And this program really joins us together with people across the entire federation. Through this program, we are joined with people in the diaspora all around the world. And some we know and have met, some we do not know and we may never meet. Some will agree with the positions of truth that we advance on this program, and some will disagree. And we understand that, because we are different people. So we have different views. So we entertain what I call a diversity of views. But it will sadden me, my Straight Dog family, if we ever start to become disagreeable. So let us thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us hope and pray for the day when we all will sing His praise together. Welcome again, my Street Dog family. And again, for those who share the link, you bring first timers, please continue to do so. And for the first timers, I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean, we include your calls, we include your emails. And if you're so minded to call, the numbers are on your screen, 646-829-6672 and or 869-663-6672. There's some of you who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. So we give you access via our email platform, and the email address is also on your screen, Straight Talk Patches, that's one word, Straight Talk Patches at gmail.com. And a special welcome to Straight Talk's Junior Brigade, Young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Rucosta, Travis and Travon. And yes, that special lady will not stop hailing her. She'll be here shortly. I'll give you some information next time around. But may I inform our first timers of the format for each show, in that we consider our observations in review, after which a dissertation or short thesis is presented. And the title of my thesis or short dissertation tonight is Overseas Voters plus 20,000 Citizens and One French Criminal. And our observations in review are an integral part of Straight Talk, as I know you look forward to it, and during this time we after which we'll rather move into our thesis, but and following that, we do include your calls and our emails, as I mentioned earlier, but to allow your full participation. It's a participative program, I said. And Observations Review is the time when we highlight the current issues, we do some reflection, we made and ask a few questions, and such as what was accomplished and how it has helped others, what has changed, and what has changed, what can be expected next, and of maximum importance, what we have learned as a people, my Straight Dog family. And I promised you last episode that I will provide you some information. I did not on that episode on Monday. When I made mention of the Maritime Delimitation Agreement signed between St. Kitts and Nevis and the Netherlands. If you recall, I reminded you that the agreement established clear boundaries to help in regulating fishing activities and safeguarding marine resources in the Netherlands, specifically with reference to saber and centustaceous, or stacia as we call it. It is anticipated to foster cooperation to combat illegal fishing and ensuring sustainability and ecosystem health. The agreement, if you recall, was signed on April 4, the 4th of April 2024, by Permanent Secretary Tivana Wharton. I recall I posted this, and the ambassador designate of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and I would repeat, it was signed under the cover of secrecy and unknown to the fisher folk of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that's not good, because I do have the signatories, but I'm just going to give you the summary of the fisher folk that signed in terms of the number of persons that signed, and you can glean from your screen there, my Straight Dog family, that you can glean from your screen that some 73 fisher folk. We say fisher folk because, women do fishing too. So fishermen, fisher folk, as we say, my Straight Dog family. And there's some 14 from Deep Bay, 16 from Sandy Point, 15 from Old Road, 18 from Basseterre East, and 2 from Basseterre West. And from Nevis, we just had some 8 from Jones Bay, 2 from Castle, and 5 from Charleston. But you'll recognize that Stacia and Sabre are closer to the western side of the island, so obviously you have more from Sandy Point, Deep Bay, or Road in particular. But the issues that still arise and why it needed discussion, because this agreement, it was not discussed with the fisher folk or none of the fishing cooperatives. I made sure I investigated that, and I can confirm that none of the cooperatives or any of the fisher folk were consulted by the ministry. And this is the brand of good governance and transparency that is now common in St. Kitts and Nevis. This is the brand. And it is really sad when these things happen under a cloud of secrecy, of silence. The Permanent Secretary signs away the rights of our fisher folk after centuries. Long before our time, our fisher folk have been accessing the Sabre Bank. But again, what's in the agreement, I trust that the ministry would make that public, my Straight Dog family. And today, in our next observation, the 29th edition of the Agriculture Open Day was launched at the Basseterre Valley National Park. I think this is the second occasion that is being held in that particular area. And according to the media and communication arm of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources, there's a total of 128 stalls that to be explored during today, or should have been explored today, and we have tomorrow is a two-day event. And this is an annual fair that brings together farmers, vendors, and other stakeholders who display the work being done in this important agricultural sector within the economy. The Minister of Agriculture, Samuel Duggins, announced, recall, an ambitious goal to reduce our food import bill by 25% by 2025. That's next year, my street dog family. That's next year. Remember, the minister said this, my street dog family.
As I look around the room, I see stakeholders from different sectors. Some of you farmers, some of you fisherfolk, some of you representing agencies that do research, some of you representing universities, some of you representing businesses that all thrive on the basis of agriculture. And if we take the time to understand that, we get down to the importance of why we're here today. And as we stand here today, talking about CARICOM's 25 by 2025 agenda, our food bill stands at $190+ million. And if we do a simple mathematical equation, we recognize that 25% of that is somewhere near 50 million. And the essence of what we are here discussing today is how we can share $50 million amongst all of them. My job here as the Minister of Agriculture is to ensure that that $50 million is going to you.
Fancy talk, my street dog family. But I submit it's virtually impossible. And I'll tell you why. There's questionable support for farmers across the country that would help them to reach development goals that would facilitate access to social services, improve food security, and lead to sustained and inclusive, economic growth. Remember when they criticized the boats coming from Florida every Monday during COVID? You remember that? The boats continue. Ocean King every Monday. Tropical like clockwork every Tuesday morning. You can look out to the roadstead, as we used to call it, the harbor. And Tropical is there on time. CGM comes on a Wednesday. If those three boats do not call St. Kitts, we are in trouble. And we are not self-sufficient. One of the issues we hear them talk about is the monkeys. One of the issues that destroy the crops produced by farmers. And that has not been addressed by the Minister or Ministry of Agriculture, except for a survey that was done. And that survey revealed over a year now that there are over 30,000 monkeys in St. Kitts. I'm speaking specifically to St. Kitts, my street dog family.
Yes, good morning. And I want to thank you for your question. Now, we recognize that the issue with feral animals would have been a long-standing issue for agriculture in this country. We have at the top of the list in St. Kitts the monkeys and wild pigs, and in Nevis, while they have some bit of those at the top of their list, will also be donkeys. And so the issue isn't an issue that has gone unchecked. However, when you look at it, we have done some research. We've had a consultant in, and we estimate that the population of monkeys has grown tremendously. They're anticipating right now from research that there's about over 30,000 on St. Kitts alone.
30,000 monkeys. But commendation to the ministry. They have done the research, but have stopped short of providing a solution for the farmers who lose their crops and lose their monies because of these monkeys. A lot has also been said about diversification of agriculture and moving into medicinal cannabis. The Team Unity administration moved that forward. And when we speak of medicinal cannabis, what comes to mind also is the promise of Minister Samal, my Straight Talk family, to grow money on trees. Yes, he said this, my Straight Talk family.
Marijuana industry, as we have heard, is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we have been dragging at a snail's pace in getting involved. And I could not understand for the life of me why. Literally growing money on trees. But yet somehow, we don't want that. But I dare say, that era is over. And it's now a new day. And a better day. So in 2023, expect a vibrant, thriving marijuana industry. Literally growing money on trees.
A big joke, because 2023 has passed and gone by, and we have not seen any movement in the medicinal cannabis area. Whereas, as I said, the Team Unity administration had in fact established a board and appointed a chief executive officer of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority, Dr. Dale Crawford. But in comes the Jew administration and dismantles the board, fires CEO Crawford, and appointed a new CEO in the person of Dr. Garfield Alexander, who obviously has a different focus to the minister. Instead of growing money on trees, his focus is to stay with his chalice, it seems, my Straight Dog family. The new CEO's focus is obviously to decriminalize marijuana. As obviously he loves his chalice. Don't you find, my Straight Dog family? And our next observation, and for weeks now, my Straight Talk family, Straight Talk has been advocating on behalf of the residents of Kean in particular for the quality testing of the water recently found in that area by the appropriate local authority, to wit, the Bureau of Standards. And we ask ourselves, why is not the Bureau of Standards being included in the process? When asked by the host of Island Tea, Azad Gums, if this was done, the manager and water engineer Cromwell Williams responded in this way, my Straight Dog family. Here's what he said.
You mentioned that you test the water quality of the well in Kean.
Yes.
Was that done by the Bureau of Standards here in St. Kitts, the testing?
Not as yet.
Not as yet.
No.
But the ones in Shadwell were done by the Bureau of Standards?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not the sort he thinks so. But his colleague said yes. But one would think, my Straight Dog family, one would think that the manager and water engineer, Cromwell Williams, would execute his professional obligation to the country. But lo and behold, he took to social media with his minister and soca engineer Conris. And instead, my Straight Dog family, instead of water quality testing, they both promoted water tasting, my Straight Dog family. Yes, believe it or not, they both promoted water tasting instead of water quality testing.
I'm going to take a little taste here. Fresh, clear water.
Interesting reaction from the manager and water engineer. The minister said, fresh, clear water, my straight talk family. But I find this, and I'm sure you will, find it disgusting. Because in most developed countries, think of Jamaica, think of other countries, the so-called engineer Conris Maynard would have had to resign, and the manager and water engineer, Cromwell Williams, would have been fired for what they did. It reminds me of when you are enlisted in the army and you're on the battlefield. You drink and you eat anything. You drink muddy water if you want. But when you get home, the med pumps tablets into your body. And when you saw Cromwell Williams, don't you think he went home and had a tablet?
Fresh, clear water.
That's the so-called. Look at the manager and water engineer now. He even looked as if he staggered away. But my straight talk family, the question still is being asked. Why don't they engage the Bureau of Standards? The Bureau of Standards tested 28 of the now 30 wells in St. Kitts. Why are they not engaged to test this well? Why didn't this Bureau of Standards go to Cairn when they were water testing, or tasting rather, my straight dog family, and take a sample? They tested 28 wells. The last well tested by the Bureau of Standards that was drilled by Bede is still capped off. It is still capped, my straight dog family, even as we speak. But we ask the question, what are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? My straight dog family is a pertinent question. The Bureau of Standards may say it's good. And that's all people want to hear. Why are they afraid? Bring in the Bureau of Standards and test the water, so-called engineer. Do that. Meantime, as well, my straight dog family, in our next observation, the solar farm that should produce some 36 megawatts of energy needed by the Skellig power plant has not started after 2 years. And though the Prime Minister July would say what he wants to say, his special advisor amongst all people had publicly stated, or has publicly stated, that the US $85 million solar farm is gone up by $5 million, by the way. And he says reduced cost, but it's gone by $5 million. But the $85 million solar farm project that was negotiated by the team Unity Administration, he said this, it was categorized as a good project. Imagine that.
It is a good project based on our own studies, calling in the expertise from right in the Caribbean to assess. It's a good project. Mm-hmm. They feel like it was properly assessed, and the costing was within the range of what it would cost anyway to do that.
A good project. So why not launch the project, Prime Minister Joe? But those are my observations in review for tonight. And I move right into my thesis, which I earlier intimated I have titled Overseas Voters plus 20,000 new citizens and one French criminal. And my Straight Talk family, whenever the question of the overseas voter is raised, many of us just choose to bury our heads in the sand rather than to engage in fulsome discussion on the issue that would derive answers that could be beneficial to all of us. The current Prime Minister said that our elections are easily bought. And that chilling comment meant little or nothing to some of us, my Straight Talk family. Little or nothing to some of us when a Prime Minister could say to the nation that elections or St. Kitts Nevis elections are easily bought.
The election in St. Kitts and Nevis, whether you believe it or not, can be bought. It is not too expensive for a rich person to buy an election in St. Kitts and Nevis. This election has proven that.
And the last elections. And a former Prime Minister, to be exact, our second Prime Minister, gave us some insight into how simple it is to win an election. Just like playing a game of chess and ensuring you make the right moves at the beginning. Like this move, my Straight Talk family.
I can say without fear of contradiction that had our flight as well been able to land, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party would now be continuing the tremendous work which has made St. Kitts Nevis the bright spot of the region. In fact, it is well known that on that final flight that arrived after the polling stations were closed, there was no less than 99 passengers who were registered to vote for constituency number 1, Labour, and no less than 66 passengers registered to vote for constituency number 4, Labour. In these two constituencies, number 1, 4 votes separated us from the so-called victory, and 26 votes separated us from the victory in number 4. However, we who stand here before you, we are strong. We are not easily distracted or discouraged.
And that's how it's done, easily, my Straight Talk family. The Labour Party brings in plane loads on chartered flights. Over there in Nevis, the CCM, we are told, have the luxury of putting them on commercial flights. Now we hear that 20,000 new citizens have received their certificates of registration, their passports. But we know not from whence they came. We also have one emboldened criminal, a French criminal, who was earlier discharged from a jail cell in France after spending years in detention in the United States of America. He was then declared a persona non grata in Barbados, not welcome, after a thorough due diligence was done. Philippe Martinez was not welcome in Barbados by Mia Motley and her entire cabinet. But somehow contact was made with a Bajan lady who held high office within the Nevis Tourism Authority at that time. And my Straight Talk family, this is what happened. This is what happened during the height of COVID.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, we recognized that Nevis was on its knees. Our main earner, tourism, was shuttered, borders were closed, hotels were closed, and the result was that we needed something to ease the pressure that we were experiencing. People were out of work. And so we partnered with an entity called MSR Media to come to Nevis and to make movies here. And the plan was a very simple plan. They brought all of the equipment and personnel. Because of our good management of COVID on the island, they opted to stay here shelter in place, so to speak. Over the period of some 2.5 years or so, they were able to film some 9 movies here. And so we saw this as an opportunity to create something new from scratch. MSR came, and we think that they did what they said they would do on the island of Nevis in terms of making movies. That's why we partnered with them. That's what we asked them to do, and they have done so.
But what my Straight Dog family asked was the nature of this partnership. It's not as simple as that. Because the nature of this partnership was a hefty cost for the Nevis Island administration.
What was our deal with MSR? We said to MSR, after some negotiations, that we will pay up to $150,000 US, and that was our partnership with them.
$150,000 US. Over $400,000 US monthly, you may add, for 3 years. You do the math, my Straight Dog family. But it's this love affair between the Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis, Terence Michael Drew, and this convicted criminal, Philippe Martinez, that's causing the greatest damage to our federation. How could Brantley and Drew believe that colluding with a criminal is the answer to our citizenship by investment woes? My Straight Dog family, it is well known that Labour and CCM have perfected the art of deploying the overseas vote during the local and federal elections, even though, strange but true, it was Pam that hatched the idea and started the overseas vote. It means so much to the CCM leader, Snake Mark Brantley, that when the Team Unity administration proposed an amendment to the National Assembly and Elections Act to include a residency clause, Snake Mark Brantley threatened to leave the cabinet. He in fact walked out the cabinet, I can tell you this. And our third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, absorbed his bluff, and the rest is now history. Truth be told though, until our leaders muster up the courage to address this anomaly of the overseas vote and the buying of elections in St. Kitts Nevis, we as a people will always get a government that the people did not vote for. And that's the kind of government we have today. A government that the majority, that the citizens and residents living on these 2 islands did not vote for. A strong Labour stalwart said that Drew scored an offside goal, to use his words. He said this.
We're making excuses for incompetence. If Dr. Drew lives in Monkey Hill for all those years, no going in and asking me to support him, to represent me in my community. Now you're saying, what? He just come and give them a chance when you are vying for office. When you're saying to the people you have the answers, the people give you the work. TDC would have turned him away. But it seems that really what happened is that it was an offside goal, the Labour score. So now the Ghani, the people seeing nothing happening. Monkey Hill roads, water gone, can't get water. The representative move out the community, gotta live in the next community.
Yes, my Straight Dog family, an offside goal. But what about the 20,000 citizens that we are now hearing about? Think about it. If 20,000 certificates of registration were generated from one project, to wit the prison project, then there must be 20 or 30,000 approved under a plethora of projects, an oversupply of projects implemented before 2022. The last and only official report on the number of passports my Straight Talk family sold under CBI was released by our third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris. Remember, he said this to the Federation.
Last time I had reported that under the program we were advised by the Canadian banknote, who manages our passport, that 10,777 had been issued at the end of December 2015. And we have the revised information from the banknote, which says that up to 2015, really, the figure should have been 12,496. And the total number of CBI passport now issued stands at 16,544.
And my Straight Talk family, that was 6 years ago. And most of them are Chinese, Russians, or Nigerians. But don't be fooled by July, Snake Brantley, or anyone who is prepared to accept some crumbs from the Republic of China and Taiwan, one of the advanced economies in the world. And some people don't like to talk about this. But we have to, we will on Straight Talk. Because Taiwan is the 7th or 8th largest economy in Asia. And in the 20 largest economies in the world. Budgetary support from the Republic of China and Taiwan to St. Kitts Nevis amounts to US $8 million per annum. If that much, my Straight Talk family. And while this does not include sundry minor grants of computers for our schools and, for example, a grant to develop the Malcolm Gishard Park in Nevis, that is all its parliament will approve. And that should be 8 million US. I take that back. That is all its parliament will approve. 3 million US. No wonder Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Bahamas, and a matter of fact, every CARICOM country with the exception of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, also St. Kitts Nevis, have scuttled their alliance with the Republic of China and Taiwan in favor of the Republic or the People's Republic of China. And look at the investment, the China Caribbean investment, my Straight Talk family. It will give you an idea as why these countries have gone that way. Look at the investment, my Straight Talk family. Caribbean investment done by the People's Republic of China. And we overlook China's influence in the Caribbean. And hear this, China is a member of both the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB. Hear this, along Italy and Germany, China is the 3rd largest shareholder at the Caribbean Development Bank. Yes, China, the People's Republic of China, has 5.6% of overall shares, which is exponentially higher than the majority of the Caribbean countries. But get back to the overseas vote, my Straight Talk family. Plus the 16,000 our third Prime Minister spoke about, that Timothy Harris accounted for. And July signed 20,000 CORs, since he's been in office and more. Do your mathematics, my straight dog family. 20,000 plus 16,000 plus the overseas voters. You see how many citizens are out there, my straight dog family? We are soon not going to have a say at all in the country of our birth for those of us who remain at home. July and Snake Mark Brantley have gone to bed with an institutional criminal. I repeat that. July and Snake Mark Brantley have gone to bed now with an institutional criminal, or some may say a white-collar criminal, my straight dog family.
Martinez says when he took the damning evidence that include confessions, audio and video recordings to Dr. Terence Drew after he assumed office in St. Kitts, he made a vow to clean up the program. The claims by Martinez were supported by the Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, who served in the Harris government as Minister for Foreign Affairs. In November 2023, on his talk show On the Mark, Brantley said Harris, as Prime Minister, was aware that passports allocated to the jail project were being undersold. According to Martinez, Prime Minister Drew understands the threats involved and for that reason initiated and pushed for the OECS CIP countries to arrive at a common position in the wake of the EU Commission's inclusion of CIP operations as one of the reasons for the suspension of visa-free access to the Shenzhen region.
But yes, my straight dog family, talk about the prison, talk about the underselling of our CBI. But also talk about this criminal, Felipe Martinez, who's in bed with the Snake Mark Brantley and July. And ask the question, how did this criminal pass the due diligence test in Nevis? I ask it again. How did this criminal pass the due diligence test in Nevis? His company is registered in Nevis since November 2022. Yes. Look at your screens, my straight dog family. We provide you the evidence. We don't fabricate, we provide you the evidence each time. Each time we talk, we provide you the evidence, my straight dog family. And there's something else we'll add. Look at your screens, my straight dog family. The address of this company on the register. On the register. Look at your screens. Daniel Brantley. Is this the firm owned by Mark Brantley? That's the address of the MSR Limited, my straight dog family. It's before your very eyes. And my straight dog family, next thing, he bought that hotel. But the hotel is closed down. He bought a hotel, my straight dog family, and he shut it down. He bought the Ocean Terrace Inn. Until this day, my straight dog family, the doors of the Ocean Terrace Inn are still closed. Still closed, my straight dog family. Imagine that. So July, my straight dog family, and Snake Brantley must tell the country who is Philippe Martinez, my straight dog family. I echo this question.
Who is this Martinez they believe in? Is that the same man with a criminal record in France? Is that the person they are relying on? Is that the man who could not pay his workers down at the hotel, which was once OTI? Is that the character that they are relying on? Is that the person who has not yet been able to access citizenship from our program because a due diligence check would have to be made. And we don't know what they will find when they do their checks in France or in the UK or in the USA. Is that the same person who was detained in America, detained in France? It can't be that these are the personalities that are swaying news.
My Straight Talk family, the last time I told you that elections have consequences, according to former US President Barack Obama. I also reminded you of the words of former President, the late John F. Kennedy, who said the ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of us all. The National Security Advisor, my Straight Dog family, seemed to have lost favor with the National Security Minister. I say this because the minister convened a meeting and he never invited the NSA. He told us this. Only the Commissioner of Police and the commander of the force. He said this.
Just today, the police high command, as I mentioned before, along with the commander from the Defense Force, met with the whole of cabinet discussing the strategies going forward.
Don't you worry.
And they have presented a comprehensive plan going forward.
Now.
And so we will,
This is
that will
exactly
be evaluated and assessed.
what he said. Don't you worry. I'll kick it back
short term, medium term, and the long term as well.
Yes, he said this, my Straight Dog family.
Just today, the police high command, as I mentioned before, along with the commander from the Defense Force, met with the whole of cabinet discussing the strategies going forward. And they have presented a comprehensive plan going forward. And so that will be evaluated and assessed because we have to deal with the short term, medium term, and the long term as well.
Yes, he met, it seems, without his son-in-law. I wonder why. Is it because the National Security Advisor, Wussy Rollins, stood on the side of the gang leaders and encouraged them? He encouraged them, my Straight Dog family, to do one thing. The National Security Advisor encouraged them, the gang leaders rather, to do this, my Straight Dog family. The National Security Advisor encouraged the leaders to do this. I'm sure you heard him before. And I'll get it for you right now, my Straight Dog family. The National Security Advisor met with the gang leaders and he encouraged them to do just this, my Straight Dog family.
If you know that you're involved in the murder of someone, I would encourage you to borrow some money, buy an airline ticket, and leave the island. Because it's going to cause us problems. That's as bluntly as I could say.
But my Straight Dog family, his son-in-law and boss and Prime Minister July have stood by the white-collar French criminal Philippe Martinez. The NSA stands with the criminals, the gang leaders, I should say. But his boss and Prime Minister July and Snake Brantley, they stand by the white-collar French criminal Philippe Martinez. So for those of us who decided to live and work in our beloved land, We must be concerned with the overseas voters plus 20,000 citizens, new citizens, I may add, and one French criminal, Philippe Martinez. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I'm not going to change it. But I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded to call, the numbers are on your screen. They are 646-829-6672. My Straight Dog family. And or 663-6672. That's the local number. And for those of you, again, who like the cloak of anonymity, we give you access via our email platform, and the address is Straight Talk Patches. That's one word, at gmail.com. I always like to implore you that when I open the lines, and I'll do so momentarily, I always like to implore you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and in the process, let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let's ensure, my Straight Dog family, that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of doing and saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines and entertain our first call at 2 before the 9 o'clock hour. And we say, good night, caller. You're live. Hello.
Mr. Pattis, good night.
Good night, my brother.
Mr. Pattis, good night.
Good night, the Bible man. Good night. You've gone back to your pole position of number 1. How are you tonight?
Yeah. So how are you, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Oh, yeah. Everything all right?
Most things, my brother. Most things. What about yourself?
Everything that's all right with me, Mr. Pattis.
Happy to learn. Happy to learn.
Now, God is good, eh?
Mm-hmm. All the time.
Now, here ya. Psalms 112. Psalms 112. What? Come on, come into you.
Yes, Bible man, is there?
Verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2. Verse 2. His seed shall be mighty, might on the earth. His seed shall be mighty upon the earth.
Multiply.
His generation, the upright shall be blessed. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness shall endure forever. What for? Upon the upright, there.
Which psalm you reading? Which psalm you say you're reading, my brother?
112.
112. Okay. I'm sorry, but go ahead, yeah. So I said 102. Okay.
1, 5.
Uh-huh.
A good man showeth favor and lend and he will divide his fear with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. His righteous is from shall be endure everlasting remembrance. Now I come down to number 8. His heart is established. He shall not be fear, and feeling is he his desire of his enemy.
Okay.
Number 9, he talk about that may distribute his goods to the poor, and his righteousness endured forever.
Remember that.
And his arm shall be exalted with honor. Now, I am telling you, when his house shall be increased with the wealth and riches,
okay,
he gonna give the poor, he gonna lend it, and I want to tell you something now.
Okay.
Psalm 41. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, he shall. In the time of the trouble. And then Psalm 41. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver it. Okay. Psalm 91.
Okay, my brother.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High
shall abide
on the shadow of thy mighty. Mr. Patrick, I am going to not take up no more time, so I'll finish there. Say you bye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bibleman. I see you struggle a little bit tonight, but not always welcome your spiritual interventions. Nonetheless, my Straight Talk family, that's has become a staple part of the program. It's 9:04. You may have just joined me, my Straight Talk family, and we are looking at our thesis for tonight. Overseas voters plus 20,000 new citizens and 1 French criminal. And I'll take some of the emails in the meanwhile, but the lines are open, like I said, my Straight Talk family. Oh Lord man, Dr. July reads this email. Why should you tell us such a big lie that Dr. Patrick Martin lost his job at the hospital because he questioned the stem cell doctors about the presence at the hospital carrying out their tests? Dr. Joe, that's another lie. Patrick Martin had reached and passed the retirement age of 55 years and was still hanging on as CMO despite his poor performance. You can't fool all of us, Dr. Joe, for not all of us suffer from amnesia and oblivious to what had happened before. So please come back and retract that false statement about Patrick Martin lost his job. An emphatic no. He retired somewhere around 58 and or 60 years. Reads this email. The good governance agenda, Mr. Prime Minister, that you continually bring up, you know that is just nominally on paper and a complete waste of time in both islands. So many people have refused to comply with the law and have resigned their position to avoid declaring their assets, while others have bluntly ignored the legislation, labeling it, especially in Nevis, as a joke, with this other email. Mr. Commissioner of Police, with this email, you are fully in charge of the force, of the police force, according to the Constitution. It is an independent position. And don't let anyone, especially any person who has no credibility, to treat you as some small boy. You don't have to go on any private radio station for any social media feed for anyone to make you a laughing stock and a puppy show. There is a female notorious character who runs a weekly program on a certain radio station, announced that you promised to come on her show for she to question you about crime in the Federation. You know how many times you had that woman on the bench when you were in CID for so many dishonest things. She said she has invited the crime advisor to join her the last night she was on for him to clear up some of the things. He had said at the press conference it was a good thing that he did not show up to make matters worse for him, reads this other email. Patches, good evening. Look at pure trouble and confusion at the Ministry of Tourism. Imagine the Minister Marshall Henderson personal assistant getting two pay, one for looking after the minister's child and the other for being a personal assistant. Now, Patches, would you believe the minister now put her personal assistant in charge of the cleaners at the Pelican Mall, and when the toilet papers in the bathrooms finish, they have to show the minister's personal assistant the empty rolls to get toilet paper to replace in the bathroom. But the cleaners say it has gotten so bad that if they don't show Little Red Riding Hood the empty rolls, she's going on bad and running them home. She does nothing but sleep, and Marsha has her raping the treasury too. Imagine the personal assistant's husband knocked down a big labor cupboard damaged his 2 feet. And he came to the minister begging and bawling because the personal assistant's husband say he ain't helping him with his medicals. And Lord God, would you imagine? It is the government vehicle the personal assistant's husband was driving. Lord, help us save this country from these people. Read that email. And yes, my Straight Talk family, again, if you have just joined me, the theme we are looking at tonight, the thesis we are looking at tonight, I have titled my Straight Talk family, Overseas Votes plus 20,000 citizens and one French criminal, my Straight Dog family. For those who, as I said, just join me, we looked at the issue as it relates in particular to this caption, this title. And as I mentioned earlier, there are some who never want to discuss this topic for obvious reasons, my Straight Dog family. And whenever it's raised, we tend to, as I also said, bury our heads in the sand rather than engage in fulsome discussion on the issue that would derive answers that could be beneficial to us all, my Straight Dog family. And as I also mentioned that the current Prime Minister told us that elections in St. Kitts Nevis are easily bought, and that chilling comment meant little or nothing to us. A former Prime Minister also spoke to and gave us some insight in the process into how simple it is to win an election, my Straight Talk family. And believe it or not, it was like playing a game of chess and ensuring you make the right moves. And now we're hearing about 20,000 new citizens under one project receiving certificates of registration. But we do not know from whence they came. But it is the emboldened criminal, my Straight Talk family, who was making the news. And he's destroying the program. So why is Prime Minister Drew allowing this criminal to damage our program? How can Philippe Martinez, a criminal, be a spokesman for our citizenship by investment program? How could he be, my Straight Talk family? And these are questions we ask tonight. You may have the answers. Do you? We need to have the answers for those questions, my Straight Talk family. And as I said, we cannot allow this criminal to damage the program. My Straight Talk family, how did he get to St. Kitts? Was the due diligence overlooked? He came via Nevis, as a matter of fact, my Straight Talk family. And that's how he came here under the cover of COVID-19. The snake, Mark Brantley, sneaked him in, my Straight Talk family, sneaked him in and paid him well, my Straight Talk family. $150,000 of the people's money. 150,000 US dollars, I may add, of the people's money was what the partnership was all about. And no, we didn't pull that from the sky. It was told to us by the Premier himself.
What was our deal with MSR? We said to MSR, after some negotiations, that we will pay up to 150,000 US dollars. And that was our partnership with them.
Yes, 150,000 US dollars. That's what he got. Over 400 US dollars. Then suddenly, a man who came here broke, when he looked at London House, didn't even have £2,000 in an account. But then he bought a hotel, the Ote Hotel, which is still closed. Still closed as we speak, my Straight Talk family. Was declared not welcome in Barbados, but found himself in St. Kitts. What due diligence was administered in Nevis? These are questions, my Straight Talk family. And this criminal in St. Kitts, in Nevis to be exact, then registers a company, my Straight Talk family, in November of 2022, and lists the address at the Prime Minister's firm. Look at it, my Straight Talk family. We are not fabricating. Yes, my Straight Talk family, again, the lines are open, but I'll take these emails in the meantime, my Straight Talk family. I'll take these emails. They are building up on me. So I will take these emails, my Straight Talk family. And this one reads, Patches, good evening. Well. Is what the workers at the technology department need to tell Congress and his aunt, who is the PS. Imagine yesterday was an administrative day, and Lord Patches, she treated the administrative workers there like drain cleaners. If you see the baskets she gave some staff, and the others she gave to her friends. She got some baskets with fruits and flowers for 4 workers. She pitied, and Lord, 4 workers she pitied, and Lord, not even a child would have accepted that. Nothing was in the basket. 1 banana, if it had at all, and about 3 other fruits and a drink. The others who are her friends, who she thinks like her, but she is fooling herself, got some very large baskets. 1 worker got 2. They got roses and she took them for lunch. Imagine in the administrative office, everyone got something except 1 particular worker. For whatever reason, the staff do not know. Well, all those she took for lunch and gave them large baskets have no kind of use for her. So she's fooling herself, thinking they have her somewhere. Patches, you think that's bad? My Straight Talk family. And she got a basket and a rose. A godchild went to lunch and got baskets and a rose. Every other staff that is there for years. Well, let Congress to know that yesterday broke the camel's back with his auntie and the staff at the technology department, because no more shall they endure. They will take to the streets and protest until his auntie is removed expeditiously. Thank you, Patches. Reads this email, and sometimes I have to be cautious here. Patches, I want you to have a good look at the 2 persons with Wusi when he made that foolish statement and gave the commissioner a good look, and you would see him with a grin under his hand. A friend of mine overseas wants to know if this government is not wise enough to see the insult and shame Wusi has done to the Federation, and if he's not brave enough to submit his resignation, and if Drew cannot ask him to hand in his resignation and strip him. We are up. S. Street reads this email. Patches, be honest and give me an honest answer. I am not hearing anything about Douglas and Duggins. Are they still members of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis? They are either not in circulation or they are very silent for some reason. Could you tell me where are they? A frightened citizen reads this email. Patches, that guy who hosts the call-in on ZIZ is a real political puppet. He always defends the government on everything they do and say. When people call the show to vent their disgust and disappointment with this government and the advisors, the host always cuts them off. Culture suffered the same situation when he called into the show and said that he don't believe anything the National Security Advisor said. The host quickly got rid of him. He was cut off. Culture should realize by now that the program was created for government to peddle their nonsensical ideas and policies. Don't vex with the host. He's doing his job. He was put there to prevent you all from criticizing the government on their dumb policies and lack of leadership, reads this other email. Patches, did the security advisor get his degree from the same university as the student? I heard he got it from one in Africa, but he lived in the USA, reads this other email. Patches, why is this government and the people in the ministries, departments keep telling us lies and feel like we are stupid enough to believe them? The blockout at the hospital, they said, was an emergency simulation. What a bunch of crap. It was a system and equipment failure. That's what it was. Everything in this country is breaking down under this selfish, worthless, greedy government. All of them need to resign immediately so that our country can return to the glory days with this email. And yes, my Straight Talk family, for those who may have just joined me, again, we are looking at our thesis for tonight, and my lines are uncharacteristically quiet. I just, my numbers are working. That's not normal. But for those who may have just joined us, my Straight Talk family, our theme for tonight, our thesis for tonight, we have titled Overseas Voters plus 20,000 Citizens and One French Criminal. And we looked at the relationship between this French criminal in particular and Prime Minister July and Premier Snake Brantley. And it's a very, very cozy relationship, my Straight Dog family. And these two persons, my Straight Dog family, they have this love affair between the Premier and the Prime Minister. And this was revealed by the Snake Brantley himself, my Straight Talk family, when he said this pretty early at one of his press conferences. He said this about the love affair, the relationship between these two, my Straight Talk family, when he told the country this.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, we recognized that Nevis was on its knees. Our main earner, tourism, was shuttered, borders were closed, hotels were closed, and the result was that we needed something to ease the pressure that we were experiencing. People were out of work. And so we partnered with an entity called MSR Media to come to Nevis and to make movies here. And the plan was a very simple plan. They brought all of the equipment and personnel. Because of our good management of COVID on the island, they opted to stay here, shelter in place, so to speak. Over the period of some 2.5 years or so, they were able to film some 9 movies here. And so we saw this as an opportunity to create something new from scratch. MSR came, and we think that they did what they said they would do on the island of Nevis in terms of making movies. That's why we partnered with them. That's what we asked them to do, and they have done so.
And my Straight Dog family, I overlooked as well. Yes, I'll get back to that. But I overlooked as well to mention that to those who have Amazon, all the listeners that have Amazon, there's a program, a paid program to all listeners that have Amazon. Alexa Straight Talk can also be heard live. And just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio, and you're live. You can also download Massive Vibes Radio app in Android and Apple Play Store. But that was what he said. But what the partnership entailed is the question. Here's what it entailed, my Straight Talk family.
What was our deal with MSR? We said to MSR, after some negotiations, that we will pay up to $150,000 US, and that was our partnership with them.
$150,000 US per month, you may add. And we go to the lines at 9:25. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night. Good night, Patches.
How are you, my brother?
Oh, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. And you?
I am peaceful.
Well, I'm going to tell you something now. And sorry. Good night, world. Good night, world. You know? That is, I understand that you close 1 million viewers.
True.
And that is good. Because that shows that your program is not controlled by a dictator. And you don't spread no propaganda. Because there are facts to back up the things that you talk about. I want to commend that emailer who observed what happened to me yesterday. email, culture, been on radio long before that dictator yesterday when he cut me off. And I want to tell he, which I said it, but he didn't cut me off. Anybody can see the way he operates, that he gone there to defend. That is, Fire Truck who used to play football for us. He was the best.
Fire Truck.
Right, he was the best centre back.
He had a good left foot.
And so this one that we got on ZZ Radio, he seemed to be better than Fires. He's real centre back, left back, and right back. His job is to go in there to prevent people from giving Julian his Mickey Mouse Sesame Street government blows. That is what he's doing every day. He cut off Miss Henry, and he cut off another lady Monday, and some time ago he cut off my good friend here, Iowa, and he would have cut me off because I ain't hiding nothing, I ain't cutting no corners, I giving me blows, and I ain't gonna stifle me conscience. But my name is Radical Donkey Talk the Truth Culture. And as long as my mouth could open, I'm going to leg my mouth. Because I can't see a person backing a political party in another up Nevis. And you come down here and you all of a sudden you get this job. And you're so boasting, telling people, no, I'm not going to entertain that caller. Cut him. Boy, he's showing himself, he's showing the world what he is. He's working for his money. They hire him to defend Mickey Mouse government. But that cannot stop me, Patrick. I'll get out my message somehow. Now, I heard something on the news today about the water. Bede, imagine Bede dig the well. And then Bede is the culprit of the water over Cairn. And Bede is the judge and jury of Bede. And he said that Conway, the minister, said that Bede is the one going to test the water. I said, who do you think you're talking to? About animals? What's wrong with them? The way they don't stop tell lies and think they could fool people. Everybody getting wise. Everybody who are playing, they're not concerned, they are and so on. And our country are on the water patches. The ship is right up to the oar, right up to where the oar goes to the stick. And if everybody know, do not get serious and realize that these people here really on the edge, shove them over, all of us can drown. All of us can drown. I agree with the email that you read here, that these people here with this lady here who believe the government is hers. If she don't do what she's supposed to do, they will hit the streets. I agree with them. Patrick. Patrick, again, this thing here, I want to know, and we want to know, when people who in position to make a change, not going to stand up and make this snake in Nevis pay back the money that he's getting for a job that he's not doing. He's wearing a hat and the badge of opposition leader, and he is not. He's far from that. It is time. People, we cannot wait too late and let he get away with that. Because what July and his Mickey Mouse government is doing, they're laughing and grinning, and they're trying to see how much money they can get in the short space of time, because they know they're on their way down. London Bridge broke down, St. Nevis Bridge already broke down, and they're only waiting for the militia to move the thing that broke down. Patrick, I will come back, Patrick, because I'll get some blow to chop on them tonight.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. This email reads, my Straight Talk family, and we read all the emails, no matter what the content. Once it's not libelous, we read them. And this one reads, good night, Patches. I keep hearing you say Wusi is your friend. You said that they replaced a major with a sergeant, and you don't know his academics. Why you keep rehashing the statements made by him, since he has already apologized, especially in light of the fact that the Prime Minister had his roundtable discussion yesterday, and he did not mention nothing about it. That is not how one treats a friend. Leave it alone. My straight talk family, an email. He apologized, but he apologized for one part of the statement he made. And that's what friends are for, to correct friends. Should I tell him that he did something wonderful when it was horrible? No, that's not how friends treat friends. This is what he said. Emailer. He said this, just to be clear.
If you know that you're involved in the murder of someone, I would encourage you to borrow some money, buy an airline ticket, and leave the island. Because it's going to cause us problems. That's as bluntly as I could say.
And he apologized. He said he misspoke about, to use his words, absconding from justice. And I'll find it so that we don't get mixed up, email. So I'll find exactly what he said, just for the benefit of all involved. This is what the NSA said in terms of his apology. And he said this, my straight dog family. We always bring you the facts. That's what he said.
Good day, citizens and residents. Lionel von Frederick Rollins is my name, and I am the National Security Advisor. During a press conference of the Ministry of National Security on Friday, April the 19th, I misspoke, and for that I apologize. What I intended to say was, if you are thinking about committing a murder, you should buy a plane ticket and leave the island. I will never encourage anyone or any criminal to abscond or flee from justice. Again, I apologize for the misunderstanding.
And this is what he said. Again, emailer.
If you know that you're involved in the murder of someone, I would encourage you to borrow some money, buy an airline ticket, and leave the island. Because it's going to cause us problems. That's as bluntly as I could say.
So if he knew that one committed a murder, he should encourage them to turn themselves in. Not to borrow money from a bank and run away. So who's going to pay the bank? So he's not going to be charged for committing the murder. He's not going to pay back the money for the bank. So what would happen? Because he evades justice, my straight dog family. So, emailer, I understand you. But friends are to correct friends. Believe it or not, my straight dog family. What is happening, or Dr. Harris said, beg your pardon, after his press conference on Tuesday night, he said after his press conference, he knows that Drew would have won, and he was correct. Because on Wednesday, Drew had some kind of show. Drew came from Dubai just a few days ago, and he has gone again. It would appear as though Drew is the Prime Minister for the airlines. Tell me what is happening and where are we heading? Shame and scandal. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
That is unexpected singer-song said, English is a funny language. Listen what the advisor said, you know. He didn't say, if you know, you will be involved in any what would he murder or whatever it is. He didn't say if you know you're going to be involved. He said if you know you are involved. It don't happen. So if you know you are involved in that, borrow some money, buy a ticket, and leave, because it's going to cost the country a lot of problem. Well, from the moment you're telling the man must borrow money, that's problem right there. You ain't telling him, well, when you borrow the money and you go, try and work and send back the money. So that's problem there for the lender. And the police does ask us every week on a program called Policing with You. That means policing with the community. And police always say, if you see something wrong, say something. Even though people don't be afraid to say what they see because of no confidentiality when they don't talk. But everybody, every consciously awake-minded person, they are conscious, we are conscious about the country going right. So therefore, when the police, the commissioner of police said that they're going to have amnesty for 1 month for people who have illegal weapons or whatnot, and the police asking people to please put down these weapons and keep yourself out of trouble, because when you kill somebody, you leave that person relative to mourn. Here he come back now and contrast what the police said, that if you know you are involved, and then people gonna come talk about he apologize. Apologize what? You apologize when something is done promptly, impromptu talk. You say, me and boy, we never rehearse that, so I apologize for that come out. But you premeditate what you're gonna say tomorrow. You sharpen, you know if I match it, because you're going to go cut cane tomorrow, and when you don't cut your cane, you're going to burn down the rest, and you're going to talk about you apologize. No, people are stupid. Not stupid. But you see, when people get job that they're not qualified for, they qualify for the money, not even that is good enough, because they overpaid $20,000 a month, and people who are getting $500, they're not even getting $4, they're not even getting $350. Come on, people, money is the root, the love of money is the root of all evil. And money make Judas sell his soul, and we know how Judas end up. Okay. Let me give somebody else a chance to come back in.
Okay, my brother. Thank you very much. We go back to the lines. Caller, I want to thank you for holding your line. Hello, caller.
Yeah, man. How you doing, Patches, man? Good evening, man.
I'm peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, man. Yeah, man, I want to zero in on the National Security Advisor. Like me, you know, this is nothing personal to him, but even before that press conference there last week, right, you was already pushing that clip that he made with that 12 murders per year. You know, that clip and that comments in itself is reckless. Then the man came back on the press conference that I believe that he should not have been on. That should have been strictly police business. At that point, we didn't have the prime minister, and I think the deputy was not on the island. So I believe maybe he, for a minute, thought that he was the leader of the country. And he can do or say anything. You know, there's another clip that was circulating with him talking about, you know, like robbing and stuff like that. You got that clip that you could play for the public, man?
About robbing?
Yeah, like it was a clip that was circulating about him making some other statements about, you know, other crimes. Like it seemed like he was giving off some subliminal messages to the gangsters. And I wanna dissect even his apology. I wanna zoom in on that clip with the apology, right? If this man is the National Security Advisor, Patches, you know, murder is not the only crime. Even in this man's apology, he specified only about murders, but murders are not the only crime. When he come with that apology, he should say that if anyone is thinking about committing any crimes, he only said that if anyone is thinking about committing murders. I want you to listen to that apology one more time, Patches. You know, this man being the national security advisor, he should worry about every crime in the nation, the federation, and not just specifically murders. You know, I'm zooming in on that tonight. But I want to move a little bit far different than that, man. The only thing I really want to say, bro, you know, I personally believe St. Kitts and Nevis is heading down the wrong path. You know, especially with that crime situation. And everybody is just back and forth with it. And it's too much politics. It's a national issue. And people don't really care about it until it come knocking on their door. But when it come knocking on their door, it's a different situation. We need to really tackle this stuff collectively and put all that politics aside. You know what I mean? This is a national issue. Crime is everybody's business. And me personally, I don't like the way how the Prime Minister dipped back out again. If this man is gone out the country again that quick, that stuff is not a good sign, bro. That is telling me that this man really don't care about the federation that he's running. He should at least put a pause on these trips and stay local with the people for a minute, especially during this time of criminology, man. And that's my little contribution for now. But I really want to say, I want to wish the Federation the best going forward, man. And them young boys and whoever committing all crimes, they might need to move away from that type of lifestyle. You know what I mean? And I want to really put the plug in for the guy, the name Nubian. You know what I mean? He been making his rounds, and the guy is been putting his best foot forward to help the youths down. And you know, he's whatever role he's playing right now in the federation. You know, I just wanted to give him some big up tonight, man. And you know, that's all I got to contribute for tonight, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Always welcome your contributions, and I like that perspective. You're so correct. Murders are not the only crimes that are committed, and this is what he said, just for the benefit of those who may have missed it. This is what he said.
Good day, citizens and residents. Lionel von Frederick Rollins is my name, and I am the National Security Advisor. During a press conference of the Ministry of National Security on Friday, April the 19th, I misspoke, and for that I apologize. What I intended to say was, if you are thinking about committing a murder, you should buy a plane ticket and leave the island. I will never encourage anyone or any criminal to abscond or flee from justice. Again, I apologize for the misunderstanding.
Yes, my Straight Dog family, it's now 16 before the 10 o'clock hour. If you have joined me for the first time, Straight Talk is a program that comes your way every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. We include your calls, include your emails. And this email reads, Patches, have you or any of your listeners and fans recognized that Jason Davis does not read news on ZIZ? I was trying to find out if he still works at ZIZ, and all I was told that he is in another department and not the news department. I wonder what they accuse Mr. Davis of. Mr. Davis is non-political, and what could he have done? Jason, just keep your chin above the water. He who laughs last, laughs best. Why is it that we are not hearing anything from or about Cecile Hull with a case of her not working in the department she was in for years? Cecile is a lady, but at least she should come forward and say something. I hope they know who is her mother. Her mother is the first to have taken a bank managing director to court, and she won the case. Her mother loves her children, and I know she will defend Cecile when the right time comes. Read this email. Did you see the smile on the the Commissioner of Police's on the Commissioner of Police's face is laughing with that sneaking smile. The Commissioner of Police was totally embarrassed. Wusi should learn how to pronounce the word money, where he learned that false accent from, reads this other email. What was done is reckless. Water may have elements which are not visible, no odor or taste, but it is harmful to humans with prolonged exposure. For example, arsenic and lead. Before acceptable test results can be presented and verified, those theatrics would be unacceptable from professionals. And I believe this emailer is talking about one of our observations in review for tonight, and I found it reckless as well. Instead of water testing, we had a water tasting. And this is really unacceptable, because what the Water Services Department should be doing is, as we said, test the water, not to taste the water. And that caller is so right in relation to that comment, because the manager and water engineer and his minister went on social media and did this. Reckless.
Fresh clear water.
And that has to be reckless. You shouldn't be tasting the water. You should be testing the water, Cromwell. As a professional, you should know that. And to put politics over water, it's not good. It's not good, period, my straight talk family. Let's go to the lines. Call you live. Hello, caller?
Yes.
As we wind down tonight.
I'm back again.
Mm-hmm.
No patches. I'm so glad that you are the kind of person that you are. And the whole world who tuned into your program, every program, they realize that you are a man in the middle. You take no side with nobody. You get to hope. Want to vex with you? You are doing what the law expects of all of us. Now, those people who committed that heinous crime last year, those robbers, you remember they robbed Rams 2 places, up camps and up Boardwalk? No, they did not murder anybody. So it's okay for them to murder. I mean, to rob and traumatize people. So that is not a crime. So it's only if you commit a murder. Okay. That's what, when you can say he export. No, Patches, listen here now again. I'm going now, but hear this. Anyone can see that the dictator on the program and ZZ, he defending and don't want anybody to laugh July them. Now, the Jamaica singer, I think it's Voice Cartel, he had a problem some years ago, and the case right now tangled up. And so, a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, the dictator, he said there is something circulating on the airwaves, and he wants to hear the opinion of the callers to this program. And in spite of that case happened some years ago, I myself called in too. And I said, what I think, what they should do, start the case over again. Okay. And everybody give their opinion. But what I'm saying now, he wanted to go back 3 years ago with that, but something happened last week. And when I called in yesterday and I talked about it, he cut me off and said, no, I'm not going there. We're not going there. You don't go there. And all them kind of thing there. So he don't want to talk about things that are happening here to make those who getting $20,000 look bad and see that they cannot do their work. But he's going back years ago with Voice Cartel. Everybody see now that's what he's doing. He's hiding and shielding and protecting. Thank you, Patches. Okay. See you Monday.
Thank you. Have yourself a good weekend as well. Let's go back to the lines. I want to thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live.
Hi, Patrice. How are you doing?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm good too. I'm calling concerning about the water testing. I don't believe in that at all because they catch the water. How much water in the hand could they catch? How we know they catch water in the hand to drink it? Get a glass, a plain glass, and throw the water in it and let me see you drink it. That is bull crap. They did not test not a water. They just was teasing people because the Prime Minister talked about it on Wednesday on the round table about the water because Timothy talked about it in the conference. So that's why he thought they run over Kayan yesterday and come talk about the testing water. Bring the plain glass full of water. Let me see. I was looking at it. Let me see you drink it. You catch up in your hand. And you catch in your hand and you drink. Can't do big lies last night. He not believe Conway's drink not just how he throw away the chicken. Secondly, again, this assistant, what he call it there, advisor, he must understand when words come out your mouth, you cannot put it back in. People take it in different ways. Right? People taking the words in different ways, and you must understand that something like that, you're going to address the nation. You're supposed to write your speech, think about it before you come on the air. Because same thing when culture talk, I call in after culture, and the guy Cornelius was trying to cut me, but I try to talk over his head. Because when a word come out of your mouth, it cannot go back in. The Bible talk about your tongue. That's a dangerous weapon, your tongue.
Yep.
That the Bible talk about it. So therefore, you have to be careful when you're dealing with the public and you think you have to know what to talk, when to talk, how to say it, and what to say. So don't care how much you apologize. Some might accept it, yes, and some mightn't because I did not accept it. I did not accept it.
Okay, baby. Thanks.
So anyway, you take care of yourself.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your intervention.
Okay.
Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night. Good night, and how art thou?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I am too. I am. You know that lady is correct. I hear laughing when she said it because that's just what come to my mind. They hold in the water. How much water they get in the hand? So to drink. Before the lady come on and say it, I don't run to my mind and say, they drink the water because you see they pump it over and then and how much water might be in your hand by the time you put it to your mouth? That's the same thing I was here.
I looked at the manager and water engineer. He was the one I really looked at. You know, he didn't say that it was good.
I laugh when the lady said that, but that's the same thing I'm here with saying. How much water you going to gather so in your hand to drink by the time you reach to your mouth? What in your hand? Anyway, may the Lord be with them. You hear? Good night, Paul.
Thanks a lot for your intervention.
Okay.
Hope Rui is good. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. You know, when the lady raised the issue about what I call it water tasting. You know, not testing, and I find it's an insult to the country. You know, it is reckless. And where are we headed in this country is the question we ask ourselves. I mean, why can't people be upfront? I mean, Congress said, for example, he's signed or he selected a company to construct a desalination plant, the Royal Utilities. And he went on to say that there were two other companies that submitted proposals. But that is not Congress's personal business. It is the country's business. So if three companies submitted proposals, why on earth you are only telling us about one company? Tell us what the three companies are. Was one of them your company Do you have a company? So what are you hiding? If you are the minister with responsibility for public utilities, and you are procuring or constructing a desalination plant costing $14 million US, that's almost $40 million, if my maths are correct. That's my strongest weak point, so don't fault me for that. And you come to the country. First of all, the country has learned that there was no procurement process in accordance with the legislation. The the Procurement and Administration Act. Because the Act stipulates how it is done, and the Act stipulates it must be published. And I want to commend the acting PS in agriculture. I saw him posting all of the Act says in the newspapers. I saw some requests for proposals or for quotations from the Ministry of Agriculture. So I want to commend that acting PS or PS, whatever is his title, Fleming, right? And that's what everybody should do. And that's what Congress should ensure is done. But to come and tell us that you're spending $40 million and you're giving one company, without the procurement process, giving a company $40 million to construct a desalination plant. You had 3 proposals. Who are the other proposals? Who they came from? Tell us who the 3 are. Why are you hiding that? That's not your personal business. It's not your personal money. I know you have a lot of money, but it's the people's money. It's our money. So tell us what has happened in fact. And now you have water. The Bureau of Standards have the best equipment in the Caribbean, the local Bureau of Standards, better than CAFA or any one of them. They have tested a well, that the last well that Bede drilled, not the one in Cairn, they tested the last well that Bede drilled in Shadwell. And the Bureau of Standards found that well or that water was contaminated. It has not been rectified till this day as we speak. It is still capped off. Look at it there. It's still capped off. So why? The Bureau of Standards tested 28 wells right around the country. So why is the Bureau of Standards not being allowed to test this well in Cairn? We are not saying that water is bad, We're not saying that. But we cannot say that water is good. And Bede should not be testing his own water. How the hell could Bede police itself? No. Especially with the facts that are there with Bede. Bede has produced bad water up at Shadwell. They have done that. So again, we are not saying that the water in Cairn is bad. But we are also saying we cannot say that it is good. That's the point. So you're coming now and telling us that you went and you tasted the water, Cromwell. I'm disappointed with you, Cromwell. I am disappointed with you as a professional. Really disappointed with you. I'm not surprised with the soca engineer. He is playing politics with the water. And always saying, test the water, not to taste it, test it. Let the Bureau of Standards test it. Because you said this. This is what you said, Cromwell.
You mentioned that you test the water quality of the well in Cairn.
Yes.
Was that done by the Bureau of Standards here in St. Kitts, the testing?
Not as yet.
Not as yet.
No.
But the ones in Shadwell were done by the Bureau of Standards?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bureau of Standards, he thinks so. His colleague says yes, and his colleague is right. And then what happens? He goes to Cairn, and with this dolly house.
Fresh clear water.
Imagine that. I trust he went home and took a tablet, just in case, my straight dog family. But the Bureau of Standards, they say it's good, like I said. And that's all we want to hear. The people want to hear an coming from an independent body or department or entity, not to hear from Congress and pretending you tasted the water. No, that's not good enough. That's scandalous, I may add. Very, very scandalous. And I would say it is disgusting. As in most countries, the so-called engineer Congress would have had to resign. You couldn't do that in England. Could you do that in developed countries? And the manager and water engineer Cromwell would have been fired. Go get the water tested. Bring in the Bureau of Standards. I challenge you to do that, my Straight Talk family. Why are you hiding? There should be nothing to hide, my Straight Talk family. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Oh, thank you, Patches. Good night.
Good night, sir.
I must say good night to all the listeners and to every human on the planet Earth. As I looked at the clip with these two gentlemen trying to prove that the water is in good condition because they put themselves on the test to be the guinea pig. That is questionable. But what the people are asking is to show the scientific test that the water is in good quality and potable. Not they go and test it for themselves. I mean, that doesn't mean anything because we need to hear that the water is in good quality. I need to know when I come to St. Kitts, I can drink that water, but it has to be proven deemed proper. For 2 men, 3 men prove that. That doesn't say anything. Okay? So I don't think that was professionally done. They shouldn't have even put themselves on the line to prove anything. That doesn't prove anything. There are standards. Okay? And the standard has not been broadcast as yet. So I don't think that was a professional way. And Congress should know better than that. You know, Congress is under so much heat already.
It's politics, you know.
And you can't do that, Congress. And anything that require the national of the country, you can't do that. So once again, that's not good. But I like to touch this part. There are so much problem in St. Kitts, and no one want to really reveal the actual truth about whatever is under the scope. It's just talking, too much talking. I said last week, what the government need to do is to set aside a stimulus for every Kittitian and division and give it to them. They deserve something. They deserve something from the treasury, just like how you all could be travel and probably going out and prospect. But what substance you are bringing in from your prospect? All is talking. Stop the talking and do action. People need to eat. People need to drink. People need a roof over their head. Okay? And everything else, life will be good in that respect. Make life easy for the people in St. Kitts. Too much damn talking, man. Cut that out. I don't want to be too rude, but that's my contribution. I hope you all will wake up and be nice. You're all supposed to set examples of the compassion and the empathy, the giving. It's better to give than to receive, but don't rob what little people have already to make life harder. In my part, in my book, as I will always preach, make the lives of humans better, not worse. Thanks for the time.
Thank you for your contribution. And that's the way we're going to end it tonight, my Straight Dog family, because believe it or not, the time just crept up on us, and we just got to run. And as we wrap for tonight, my Straight Talk family, I remind you, for those who would have joined us late, we looked at the thesis tonight over overseas voters plus 20,000 new citizens and one French criminal. Call, I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Can you use it?
Yes, Patches. I wanted to come back in real quick, man. 20 seconds. That water that those guys was drinking there, that's not the toast that I asked for, man. I want to see that real toast, man. Okay. I want to agree with my colleague there and those two ladies that came on before him. I was about to call in and put in that plug for him because I didn't hear him for the night, but I'm happy he mentioned that. And I'm not going to take up too much time, but I seen a clip earlier in the name of corruption. The former first lady of the Gabon, the country Gabon, the former first lady there is going to jail in the name of corruption and forgery. So, instead of me taking 10 seconds, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to take up your time, but I want to observe a moment of silence for that in the name of corruption. 5 seconds. But, you can cut me off anytime. But, I just want to come in and get that moment of silence in the name of corruption in. And thanks a lot, man. Have a good night, man. And enjoy the rest of your weekend coming up.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. Always welcome your contributions. And yes, there ought to be, I like the word that was used by Minister Welcome. He used the word scientific. Yes, there must be a scientific test. And that cannot be done by pretending you're tasting. The so-called engineer Congress is just putting politics over water. And I am really disappointed with the manager and water engineer, Cromwell Williams, who I know as a consummate professional. And I just can't understand for the want of me why is not being included in the testing of this water. And I trust, and I believe you went home and took some pill, some medication after tasting that water. But as we wrap tonight's program in my Straight Talk family, we looked at the thesis, as I said, which I titled Overseas Voters plus 20,000 New Citizens and One French Criminal. Whenever we looked at or raised the question of the overseas voter, I made the point that many of us choose to bury our heads in the sand. We don't want to discuss it. No fulsome discussion is entertained. My callers keep coming. The caller, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. Can you use it?
Just give me 5 seconds because you don't go more than 5 seconds. Blessed night to you, brother Patrick, and blessed night to you, listeners. Well, YouTube and Facebook and you call Facebook. No, you just outline something there in detail here about the water situation. I was trying to catch you, but you come like some of your program wasn't formulated properly on the YouTube feed. So I wasn't hearing much of the speaking. Now, I would like to say, I heard the former Prime Minister state something yesterday, right? And he stated about some matter with the French. But we like to ask, so how did the French investor get two Nevis to come into St. and buy a hotel and have the hotel shut down at this point in time? That's the question I would like to ask.
Repeat that question.
How the French investor, however he be, the same Martinez,
the French criminal, yeah.
Well, investor, you could call him criminal.
I don't call him criminal. He's a criminal. He's a convicted criminal.
Well, how I let him come in here? He's a criminal.
That is the question. That's a question you should ask Mark Brantley when you call him.
When you come to our team,
Hello?
Yeah, he come to our stream too because he come to think it's a new thing.
Well, the CMO objected to it strongly when he came to Nevis. And he said they're in Nevis. The CMO never, if I recall it, sanctioned it. When he was declared not welcome in Barbados, he found his way to Nevis. And Mark Brantley accommodated and paid him $400,000 of the money, our money, because we send money there too. There was no due diligence done. He hoodwinked. Snake Brantley hoodwinked the cabinet when it came to due diligence. He hasn't got citizenship, as far as I know, because he cannot pass the due diligence test. Does that answer your question? But I'm out of time, though.
It answers the question because I am going to face one another. And when I face it,
that's how you ask me how he got in there.
Yeah, that what you want to put there, but that is not the fact because Allah is corrupted in the format of laying him and do what he did. Because you just said the CMO didn't sanction. You just don't like that the CMO didn't sanction him to come to and he still reaching me this.
But
so that means that somebody wasn't trustworthy.
But Nevis does as they like. Mark Brantley does as he like in Nevis. It happens all the time. That's nothing new.
You have a joyful night with the love of the Almighty. Stop cover for criminal gangster. And make sure I tell my men ask you, do you have any alliance with any member of the Masons? Because when you was using your CHR program before you get into office, I did ask you that. Remember that couple years ago.
I don't join. I'm no member now, lad. No lodge.
You don't say this so then it's here,
no lodge.
All six leaders of Prime Minister are members of the Masons. And if they are not physically members, they have people who are in the cabinet who have line with the Masons. So let me tell you that. And you better educate people about this thing there. That is why I need to educate the people about the Masons.
I'm out of time, my brother. I really
factor of our social development. You have a lovely night, man. It's time now we wake up with people properly and not political garbage.
Thank you, my brother, Ras Aya, right? I am not a member of no Freemason or any lodge at all. I can assure you of that. But I entertain the discussion, and that's what Straight Talk is all about. We entertain diverse views. You ask me a question, but you tell me it's not fact when you get the answer. But if you have the fact, then give us the facts, my brother Ras Aya. But that's the way we're going to end it, my Straight Talk family. But the question is, and you asked the question about the French criminal, how we got there. How we got to Nevis was an attempt to outline it, the historical revelation by the snake. And this is how we got to Nevis. Listen to this carefully, Ras Aya and all the listeners. He said this, Mark Brantley.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, we recognized that Nevis was on its knees. Our main earner, tourism, was shuttered, borders were closed, hotels were closed, and the result was that we needed something to ease the pressure that we were experiencing. People were out of work. And so we partnered with an entity called MSR Media to come to Nevis and to make movies here. And the plan was a very simple plan. They brought all of the equipment and personnel. Because of our good management of COVID on the island, they opted to stay here, shelter in place, so to speak. Over the period of some 2.5 years or so, they were able to film some 9 movies here. And so we saw this as an opportunity to create something new from scratch. MSR came, and we think that they did what they said they would do on the island of Nevis in terms of making movies. That's why we partnered with them. That's what we asked them to do, and they have done so.
And yes, my brother, he said the borders were closed. The borders were closed. The federal borders were closed, but they entered into Nevis. And the lady is not the chief medical officer, but the medical officer over in Nevis sanctioned it. I am positive that the chief medical officer did not sanction it, but the plane landed in Nevis. What you do? Take the Coast Guard up there, take the Defense Force up there and invade Nevis? No. Mark Brantley decided that he wants to stimulate his economy. And he went on to say this was his arrangement with the criminal.
What was our deal with MSR? We said to MSR, after some negotiations, that we will pay up to $150,000 US, and that was our partnership with them.
And yes, 2 years after, another company is registered in Nevis in November 2022. That's the registration certificate on your screen, my Straight Talk family. Look at it. It's there for you. And the address of the company is Daniel Brantley. Ask yourself the question, is that the company owned by Mark Brantley? Ask that question. That's what you should ask. And then a broke criminal then finds money to invest in a hotel. Look at that. And locks it down. And now he's being used by the Prime Minister, July, as the face of the CBI. Imagine that. Criminals protected. The criminals are protected. The French criminal is protected. My Straight Talk family. And now we hear some 20,000 citizens, new citizens are out there. But July and the Snake Brantley have emboldened a French criminal who went to a jail cell or was discharged before from a jail cell in France after spending 2 years in detention in the United States of America. Barbados said he was not welcome, but he found his way to Nevis. And there was a Bajan lady who held high office with the Nevis Tourism Authority. That was his contact, we are told. And Mark revealed the history. But this love affair between the Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, Terence Michael Drew, and this convicted criminal Philippe Martinez is causing great damage to our federation. How could Brantley and Drew believe that colluding with a criminal is the answer to our CBI woes? My Straight Dog family. How could they? But time will tell. Time will tell, my Straight Dog family. Because what has happened? What has happened, my Straight Dog family, is a French criminal is being protected. The overseas vote plus 16,000 that the third Prime Minister Timothy Harris accounted for, and July signed, the 20,000 that July signed. You see how many citizens are out there, my Straight Talk family? We are soon not going to have a say at all in the country. Those of us who stuck it out here and remained and in St. Kitts and Nevis. Because July and Snake Brantley have gone to bed with an institutional criminal, my Straight Dog family. How did this criminal pass the due diligence test in Nevis? Was one done? Was one administered? I showed you his company registration, my Straight Dog family. I showed you his company's address. I showed you he bought a hotel. So July and Snake Brantley must tell the country, my Straight Talk family, who is Philippe Martinez. And I echo the question submitted by our third Prime Minister. Who is Philippe Martinez?
Who is this Martinez they believe in? Is that the same man with a criminal record in France? Is that the person they are relying on? Is that the man
who could not pay his workers down at the hotel, which was once OTI? Is that the character that they are relying on? Is that the person who has not yet been able to access citizenship from our program? Because a due diligence check would have to be made, and we don't know what they will find when they do their checks in France, or in the UK, or in the USA. Is that the same person who was detained in America, detained in France? It can't be that these are the personalities that are swaying news.
Imagine that, my Street Dog family. A convicted criminal, the spokesman for our CBI. The National Security Advisor, Wusi Rollins, stood on the side of the gang leaders and encouraged them to borrow money and get out. His son-in-law, his boss, and Prime Minister July stood along with the snake Mark Brantley, stood by the white-collar French criminal Philippe Martinez. So for those of us who decided to live and work in our beloved land and not to go any place, we all must be concerned with the overseas voters plus the 20,000 new citizens and this French criminal. That's my story tonight, my Street Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I must thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I thank you, the many listeners. I thank those who called, those who sent emails. And I want to say to you and remind you that you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's Spear, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until that time, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. I'm going to church, God's willing. Do your chores. But remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Street Dog family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
When I wake in the morning, I thank God for the morning light. And praises for taking me safely through the night, for the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep and my guide. Over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on. my way with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with his love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord in prayer. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow.